I will share here many stories from the days when I was in hospital, but today we speak about this same one the nurse used to style the hair to young woman that was in bed across mine, who, how I heard, we were together in intensive care. All other patients were coming and go, but because we were more complicated cases, me and her, we were there constant. So I was 12 days praying for her, even if she never witnessed to know that. But I was conscious when they brought her and put her across my bed. She was close to the windows because in intensive care, those who come to visit us only can look us through the window. So how I heard that young woman, who I think was 25, 6 years, something like that, was in intensive care because she attempted suicide second time by drinking a lot of medications. Her parents were, that was very sad, every day from the other side of the windows, crying and looking at her, hoping for the best. But she, as long as she was there, was not giving any signs of improvement. So some strange things were happening. I could literally feel other spirits coming to visit her. And I remember the morning when she passed away, a nurse used exactly the same, maybe just different color than this one, and that's why when I found out that I have this in my home, I kept it, and almost, even though I have many other hair brushes, I specifically use this as a reminder and a way to trick my mind in gratitude. Even though the older I get, the less reasons I have to trick my mind to be grateful, because every second of existence is a reason to be grateful. So literally every breath, every step, every heartbeat is a reason for us to repeat thank you. The best way to go through life is to imagine that every heartbeat beats with thank you. So I remember the morning when she passed away, one young beautiful nurse who was also taking care of me, who was helping me to do my, as it was possible, hygiene, used similar hairbrush to style her hair. And I remember even now, when I recall that, I can cry. And I remember that I cried even that morning when a younger nurse was a young, beautiful nurse, full of life, was doing her hair. And I remember that I was thinking, what a duality, what forced uh, the other young woman to second time uh, try to, and this time successfully, uh, take away her life. And on the other hand, you have this beautiful young nurse who is full of life, who really, most of the people there were very kind and awesome humans, but this young woman particularly was so full of life, and it was more than obvious that she is enjoying and loving what she is doing. That was really something that touched me inside deeply, because in the world nothing is more beautiful than to witness and being aware of these light workers. So she was styling her hair with so much love, and she was so gentle that from my side, as someone who observed it, it looked like when mother is styling her daughter's hair. She was so kind and gentle, and it was more than obvious that while she was styling her hair, she was silently praying for her recovery. That was about 6:30 in the morning. Around 7:30, I'm not sure no more, those machines started to make noise, and it was more than obvious that she decided to go. So immediately all the nurses, all the doctors, those who were able to, through the reanimation, bring people back, did whatever they could to help her. I remember that even one nurse who was also great towards me came and said, "This will be unpleasant, but you must know that it's all life, and we apologize to you because you will witness it." And she took some kind of white moving wall to separate me, not to watch. Even though I couldn't see after they gathered together to try to bring her back to life, I knew what was going on, and I could see the silhouettes, and thousands of times I watched that in movies, so I knew what's going on. And after countless times of trying to bring her back, they eventually announced her dead about, it was 8:50, something like that. And then they proceeded with all the steps that go on when something like that happens. I remember that they were then calling her parents and so on and so forth, and I just couldn't imagine how her parents felt when they got the news. But that's why I'm saying always, no matter the issue you are going through and facing now, always know that behind the scenes and in this life, there are some warriors and there are some challenges that you might not even know about, and they're happening 24/7. So never over exaggerate your problems. Never always know that no matter what's going on, it's just preparing you for your next level. So I keep this hairbrush and I almost every morning use it to remind myself for those moments, because we people tend to forget. I also take care, and I also, because I know how quick I forget things. So this is my cup from the hospital. I used to, because more than 10 days I couldn't drink anything, but then when I could drink a little tea or water, so I specifically brought to hospital my stuff in order to have a reminder where I've been, what was I capable to overcome, what I was seeing through my hospital experiences twice, what I went through all years of my disease. So I have always around me reminders in case to, because life goes on and you forget. I mean, I can never forget my disease and surgeries and all that stuff, but you know, monkey mind from time to time wants to take over, and I sometimes catch myself in I don't know, becoming annoyed about some stupid BS, completely forget, and then I quickly pull myself back and I say, girl, what is this BS? Where we come from? Hello? And I immediately bring myself back. So that's why I say, always have something to remind you where you've been and where you are and where you're going. So also one of the great mind hacks is, and I use it whenever I have to deal with some chores that I don't feel like I would do. Let's say, because I had that obsessive compulsive disorder and I like to always have everything neat and clean, and many times I even exaggerate, but that's okay. I learned to live with it. Nobody's perfect. It's less and less as the time goes by, but I like to have clean and a nice environment. So whenever I don't feel like it and I should do things in order to live in environment that's pleasant to me, I pause and I said, okay, I should do this now, but I don't feel like it. So in order to approach to it from a place, I have to do this now, I just switch it to gratitude and I say, thank you, God, for the fact that I get to do this. I get to do this. And I just remind myself for years and years when I was literally unable to move, to literally breathe, how big my pain was and how sick I was. So that's like that girl, I don't know what's going on with her now, but I saw one of her videos where it was all fairy tale and she was happy and she got married, and then suddenly she got sick, and now her husband is taking care of her almost 24/7 because she has some disease that is complicated. And I remember her posting one picture where she's healthy and beautiful young woman, because youth by itself is beautiful. You don't have to put too much effort to be beautiful. The fact that you're young and alive, no matter your features, uh, you're beautiful. But she wrote, and she put the other where she's sick and with all that machines around her and all that stuff that she's using, because I think that she can't eat. She just have something that goes in her blood. So first picture, and she wrote down, "This is me, young and beautiful, but completely unhappy because I always used to find something that's wrong. My hair isn't good, my makeup isn't good, what I'm wearing could be better," and so on and so forth. So she was young, but she was too criticizing about herself and almost always unsatisfied. And the other where she's sick, and she wrote down below, "And here I am sick and would give everything I have to be the person that I was, and I wouldn't even try that much. I would be grateful." But you know, so stop being so mean to yourself. Most people who are healthy are too mean to themselves, are too hard to themselves, are too criticizing. We always judge something, we always complain, we always, that's not how the journey should unfold. Until you learn to be okay and grateful and literally to bless even your biggest enemies, you're still in the collective consciousness pattern. So what's collective consciousness pattern, and what's your previous identity and your old personality? That's just like old record that's playing on autopilot. Old identity is just a combination of your previous thinking, feeling, and behaviors. In every moment of now, you can change the way you think, feel, and behave. So yesterday I watched one of my teachers, and it was at some of his seminars where one young woman spoke about her situationship, and it was amazing how he literally pulled out from her a pattern from her childhood. She said that she had mother who always was saying to her, "Be good girl, uh, do what I say, don't get in my way, behave as I want you to behave." And she says that even in her childhood, she betrayed herself, and that's why he had that issues, and she lived abandonment and betrayal issues, because she deep down, even when she was a child, in order to please her mother, abandoned herself. So I always affirm, thank you God for making me just as I am, with my good and bad traits, because both were given to us in order for us to be whole. She, of course, didn't know this. I didn't knew it even when I was a child. That realization came long after. But they eventually come through the conversation, come to the conclusion that she even agreeing on being in a situationship meant that she abandoned herself, because no one who deeply appreciate and love themselves wouldn't even think about the possibility of situationship, nevertheless to be a part of one. So through the dialogue, they came to conclusion that she should embrace her bad side, that she should less care what others think about her, and that it is okay to, from time to time, be bad and say what you really think. I am more than grateful to God for the ability to always be ready to, in a sense, disappoint every other person rather than disappoint myself. Because, as many teachers say, one of the reasons why you might be stuck is your need to be liked by, let's say, your parents, your friends, your partner, your co-workers, and so on and so forth. Why people are doing this? Because they are afraid that if they show their true nature, they will be laughed at, ridiculed, they will be gossiped about, and so on and so forth. And you are stuck because you are abandoning yourself in order to be liked by others. As soon as you say, you know, I know this from my personal example. My mother is a beautiful mother, and I'm grateful to her more than words can explain. And if I even had 100 lives, I wouldn't have enough time to express my gratitude to her. She's also a mother, she's a beautiful person, but she has some control issues, and I felt that somewhere long in my life, deep down inside, to adjust myself according to her vision of me. And as long as I was in that place of needing to be liked by her, I wasn't doing well. But as soon as I said, you know what, I don't give a fuck, my rebellious nature came to play even when I was in high school, and when I realized some things. I remember that I have just one picture from that period because I struggled with eating disorders. Later, I realized what was causing them. Deep down inside, I was losing my appetite for life, so to speak, because I was always sensitive, and I could, in a sense, even back then, I had glimpses of how the game of life works. So my spirit couldn't, there were zero chances for my spirit to, so to speak, behave. So I remember that I even wanted to drop the high school. I wasn't going to school. I don't recommend this because I went, let's say, on a route that was a little challenging, but simply I said that even back then I felt that rebellious connection to what served and what I know. So maybe, and I remember even later during some complainings of my mother towards me, if I wasn't good and if I wasn't speaking with your teacher, you wouldn't have even high school degree. And yes, that's fact. but I don't need it anywhere and at all, because in school we were learning all the things that we will never need in life, but no one ever speaks to us how to be confident, because without confidence you can burn your diploma no matter what's your education. So no one is teaching us literally the game of life and how to play it. And my eating disorders were a result of that deeper knowing inside that this is my life and I will play this my game according to my roles. So my roles are not the same as yours, this, that one, the other one, or any other person. And that's the beauty of this journey. So if you have health, you're immediately wealthy. Don't take for granted the most valuable and most precious thing that God gave to you. No matter where you are, if you are healthy, you are wealthy. What relaxes me now is watching those beautiful people, let's say, on some island. They're so full of life and they're so satisfied and they're so connected to nature that literally puts me in awe. And on the other hand, you have increasing in depression and mental health issues in countries that are, so to say, countries that are ideal for life. Something's off. You have those people who are literally every day, all day outside. They eat fruits, vegetables, fish, and as the moment you see them, you see how healthy and how good in their head they are towards those who are living in promised lands. So forget about what's been presented to you. Always read between the lines. I was never in those conspiracy theories, and I don't really care, because the older I get, the more I go towards ancient living, because I now see that my ancestors were real wizards. But I also watched some video where they say that all the shampoos that we are using are owned by, I think, 3 or 4 companies, major companies, and those shampoos have some BS inside that's causing people's hair to fall off, and they are using that intentionally. Someone would say, why they are selling shampoos to make people's hair fall off? If they then, would you buy another shampoo if you don't have hair? Of course you wouldn't. But then they're selling products for repairing hair loss, which are much more expensive than hair shampoos are. I don't know, they even found out that baby products have some substances that are very damaging, and so on and so forth. So that's why I'm saying, don't buy that which is pleasant for your eyes. Step out of the collective consciousness. Use the tools that God gave to you. Before every reaction, pause and observe your reaction to react. That's the first sign of expanding your awareness, being able to pause and observe your reaction to react, being able to see the pattern. And something that was earlier inside of you causing unpleasant need to react in some unwanted way, when you shift that, your awareness increased. All resistances come from being disconnected. Every thought that's causing you unpleasant feelings also means that you're disconnected. So I literally overcame disease, death twice, and many other things in my life just by the fearless faith, non-resistance, and love. And I remember that in the moment when literally felt like I'm dead in a matter of seconds, my thought was, okay, God, if this is it, I'm ready. Let's go. Literally. I know that the only feeling of sadness was caused by the fact that my parents and my brother will suffer, nothing else. Literally, I felt and I thought at the moment of what really felt like dying, okay, God, if this is your will for me, I'm ready, because I'm powerless. Who am I to fight against the power of the universe? And that's exactly what you're doing when you are fighting against the divine design for you. So let's say you were born in rich family and your parents were the most famous lawyers, mother and father and grandfather, and so you come from a family of awesome lawyers. But you deep down inside feel that you are not, you have talent for it, but you don't have burning desire in your heart to be the lawyer. And in order to be liked by your parents and by your family and by your friends and circle in which you are, you become a lawyer. And what? You're suffering. If the divine design for you is to be an artist, and you, in order to be liked by your parents, become a lawyer, you're fucked up for life and you will die. And that was my case. All others had some plans for me. I hardly finished high school because I felt that I am the instrument of the spirit and I just have to allow the instrument of the spirit to work through me. Even when I was in school, I told this story before, there was something about my voice and all the teachers, no matter what was it history, no matter what, they would literally give me entire 45 minutes and all their class to just read. And when I would ask, what should I read? Find what you want to read. There was something soothing about my voice that even to those people who were back then in my age now, there was something comforting in my voice for older people, even back then. So I, after that realization, allowed the spirit to work through me, and I will always, as long as I breathe. And I will remind you that the only reason, if you are now in any struggle or resistance, you are just not allowing the divine design to flow through you. This is applicable even to relationships, to whatever it is. If you are struggling in relationships, no matter if it's a husband, boyfriend, friends, whatever it is, that just means that those environments, those people are not divine design for you. You are maybe lowering your boundaries in order to keep certain person if you're in your life and you feel off and you have some unpleasant feelings inside, those unpleasant feelings inside are just the sign that by the divine design and by God's grace, something much, much better is in store for you. So it's much better to adjust your life on absence of certain person than to lower your standards in order to have them in your surroundings. Know thyself and know that you are in other group of people in higher state of consciousness. As soon as you become to level up in your awareness, and always know that you can't change what you are not aware of. So first awakening and first glimpses of self-realization come from the moment when you become more and more aware and more in tune with your innermost being and automatically with the infinite intelligence.